Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Lloyd, and in this video I'm going to take you on a little spring garden tour. I'm in USDA growing zone 7A, and we're about a week and a half past our average last frost date. That doesn't mean that it won't frost, but I think it's looking pretty good for us. So keep that in mind as you see what I'm growing. It could be very different if you are more south than me, more north. But as I walk through my garden and I show you the things that are working well for me or things that maybe aren't working that well, please engage in the video, with the video, leave comments, tell me if you want to learn more about something, because while I make these videos as a creative outlet, I also make it hopefully as a teaching, educational, entertaining, something for you guys to watch. But without further ado, let's get into the garden. Right out of the gate, this bed right here is one of my brassica beds. In laying out my garden this year, I tried to concentrate like vegetables together with the idea of crop rotation. That way I can do a whole bed of brassicas here, and then next year keep that in mind so I don't grow the same thing in the same spot. I may, however, be reconsidering that because this is pretty densely packed. So if I get pest pressure on these, it's going to just spread across the whole bed. So I may in the future do a lot more interplanting and spread things out, and that way constantly rotating and don't have to worry about a more formal crop rotation like you would have if you're planting big fields of a monocrop. I don't think that is as important for me here. The first plant I have in this bed is some purple broccoli rabe, which actually I need to pull out because I didn't read the planting instructions and it needs to overwinter before it starts producing. But this right here, this broccoli rabe is definitely producing. Some of it's even going to flower. So I have this broccoli rabe right here. I have some regular old broccoli that is doing pretty well, some cabbage, and then 2 different types of kale. And then on the back, I have a trellis where I have some peas growing that are looking like they may start producing in the next week or so. Now these beds right here are kind of in transition. I have some lettuce over here and some lettuce over here, some radishes and things that are like quick growing greens, because I haven't fully planted these beds out, but I wanted something going on, them producing something. I planted a Swiss chard that will hang out for the summer that's going to replace this mammoth one that grew all winter long and did extremely well. But in this bed, I'm going to have bush beans and some cucumber, and then interplanted with some marigolds to hopefully keep out some pest pressure. And this bed right here is going to be a bit of an experiment. I asked ChatGPT to make the most optimum and productive bed for me, and I'm going to follow its instructions. So far, not so great, but some of that is on me, not ChatGPT. And you may have seen it, let me know in the comments if you did, but I have a rubber snake back here and I have them kind of interspersed throughout the garden. I put them out thinking that they might deter squirrels that have been digging in my beds. Nope, they do not care one bit. So I'm probably going to have to figure out some row covers to keep squirrels out. But let's keep moving through the garden. Now onto the 3-tier raised bed that I made in a previous video where I talked all about raised beds and what to think about when building raised beds. But I have strawberries growing up in this top one and in the last one. Eventually I want strawberries in all of these different varieties. These ones I started from seed and they are doing great. I read online that you should really pull off the flowers the first year to allow them to get established. I'm gonna risk it because they look so good. So I think that these are gonna produce a nice crop in their very first year from seed. I started these from seed in February. The other ones that are a white strawberry, they're much smaller, so I'm definitely gonna pull off any flowers if they develop to allow those to create a nice root mass so they can overwinter. And in the center bed where there are no strawberries, well, there were originally, I planted some that I got the roots from, I planted them, and then squirrels immediately dug them up and killed them all. So I've got some onions and some celery going in there instead. My round raised beds right here, which are made from a piece of drain pipe that was left on our property that I cut into 4 pieces. I've got onions in these 2 beds. They're 2 different varieties, and I'm hoping that these do better than the onions I tried to grow last year, because I learned something that I didn't realize. There are different types of onions. There are long day onions, short day onions, medium day onions, depending on how much sunlight you get in the summer. Now, because I am not super north, I would go with an intermediate or a short day onion. So that's what these are. These are short day onions, so hopefully they do better. In these beds right here, I have some different greens. This one is all arugula, and this is a stir-fry mix. Eventually, I'm going to try my hand at planting some garbanzo beans in these two beds. Just a small little test plot to see how they do, because it's a good piece of advice to grow the things that you eat. And we eat a lot of chickpeas, so I want to see if I can grow them. And then we have all of this garlic right here. Now these are two different types of garlic in each one, and I did label them. This one right here, you can still see is the, well, I barely can see it. I wrote it on these labels in Sharpie. Sharpie in sunlight photodegrades and wears off. So don't put Sharpie on your plant labels. I've got some wax pens now that I'm going to be using on my plant labels, or pencil actually works pretty well. So I've got two different types of garlic right here. I've got a third in the back, and then also an elephant garlic, which I believe is technically a leek. So going to be growing a whole lot of garlic. I think there's 300 plus bulbs of garlic, but like I said, grow what you eat, and we eat a lot of garlic. So here I have some grow bags. Two have potatoes in them, and then I have some radishes, some daikon radishes, because over here I have some Napa cabbage going that I want to make some kimchi with. Here's my Napa cabbage. It's getting attacked a little bit by something, I think slugs, so I'm going to need to try out a few different ways to reduce the slug pressure in my garden. But I grew these last year and made, again, kimchi with them, and I really, really liked it. And I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could grow the other ingredients that I used in my kimchi, which were chiefly, you know, the chilies that I needed in there, the carrots, and the daikon radish. So my daikon radish, I grew those over the winter, and they actually did pretty well, so I'm growing a new crop of them. But my carrots, as I'll show you, aren't doing so hot. These carrots actually are, but they overwintered, and I think they're going to go to seed, so I'm just leaving them to make flowers, mainly for attracting insects. This whole bed right here was supposed to be carrots. Not going so hot. This row came up well, this row kind of. All throughout here, no. I did try some different methods, but these are all the same variety of carrot. Just really poor germination. I think maybe I don't keep the soil wet enough in those initial stages. You know, a lot of things that I do, I start inside in, you know, pretty protected conditions. I water every day. I have a tendency that when I plant something outside, put a seed in the ground, I'm just like, well, throw a little water on it, it'll fend for itself. For a lot of things, that works out totally fine. Carrots, not so much. So I think I need to give them a little bit more love and attention. Down through here, I have some milk jugs that have a whole bunch of wildflowers that I winter sowed that I'm going to be transplanting out in the next week. I've got some more peas growing on my cattle panel trellis, some lettuce growing, turnips, and also, again, carrots. These ones are doing okay. And then, I've got a tomato plant right here and another one that I planted these out kind of early. They were getting too big. I just threw them into the ground just to see. And I think, you know, they got a little stressed with the cold, but I don't know, they look okay. And I've got some beets going on over there, some onions, some celery. I think I planted more carrots trying over there. I'm really trying with carrots. My dog Greta doing a bit of an investigation. Some salad, some arugula that's going to seed, which I'm actually really excited about, because I know that people have beds of arugula that have gone to seed and it just continues to produce arugula. And I really like arugula. And then we've got this trellis over here. This teepee structure trellis is made of sticks, but I think it looks really good in my garden. Now, I started out when I was laying out this garden that everything were these nice clean lines, but the more and more that I garden, I kind of like, wabi-sabi probably isn't the right word, but just imperfections. Like this bed right here was all made of logs, and I'm trying to get out of the straight, strict lines and just have curves and flow. And I like the look of this rustic look, and free from some trees that I chopped down that I was just clearing to get out of the way, and I used, I think most of these, are the sycamore that I used for inoculating mushroom logs. But that is my garden. What do you think? What do you see? Actually, nope. Second, I forgot. I've got a whole new garden. I have this new garden plot right here, which is going to be 9 30-foot rows. I've got one totally complete, all dug out, topped with some fresh compost. I got a dump truck's load of compost. Smells lovely. So I've got this row completely ready and prepped. This one is dug up, ready to be topped with compost. This one is almost finished. I'm hand digging this whole thing as of right now. And that one's gonna be finished. And these will be all done in the next probably day, which is good because this is where my peppers and my tomatoes are going to go. And they are getting really big, too big. My wife actually remarked that how nice that they looked. They were already putting on flowers. Well, those flowers are actually not a good thing. They're kind of a stress response that the plant thinks, oh my gosh, I'm so cramped in here. I need to start putting on flowers because my whole goal in life is to reproduce and to make seeds to continue on, my genetic line. So that's why it's put on flowers, because it's stressed. Normally they wouldn't put on flowers being that size, or at least that early. So I need to get those in the ground. Now I think we're going to be in the 80s. I think we're fine with frost. So hopefully this weekend, let's get these all planted out. I got a small little fence I'm going to put around this area, but I'm expanding my garden this year. Really excited. What did you like about my garden? What things would you like to put in yours? What tips do you have for me? Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, please leave a comment. If you like this video, you made it this far, please give a thumbs up. And if you want more videos about living a happier, healthier, more sustainable life, subscribe. My name is Tyler Lloyd. I wish you the very best. See you later. Bye.